Coming home from rehab, Rue's life felt mediocre until she met Jules. She had never met anybody like her. Their friendship quickly became the center of her life, temporarily replacing her drug addiction with something just as addictive: falling in love. Jules, a city girl, was grateful to make a new best friend in the boring small town she moved to after her parents' divorce. You know it was bad because it was her dad that got full custody. And though she loved Rue, she wasn't prepared for the sudden responsibility that came with being her friend. Hello and good morning, Skullies. My name is Savonne Pearson, and I am so excited to share with you guys my new series where I break down, discuss, and analyze lesbian relationships and my favorite TV shows. So I'm going to start with my favorite TV show right now. I've watched the show 5 times. And for context, I don't watch any show more than once. And that show is the amazing, the one and only Euphoria. Look, I'm a sucker for a good show, throw in some diversity, and then, a script that hits hard. This script does not hold back, and this whole show just does not disappoint. I especially love the fast-paced vignette storytelling of the whole thing, and then as a cinematographer, the shots. Oh, the shots. Now, like you, I'm super mad we didn't get another season this year because of Miss Rona. However, I look on the bright side and I see it as more time for me to get on set and the camera crew. Yes, this is my application to the production company 824. Hello. Anyways, I was missing the show and I decided to rewatch it, but this time from the lens of Rue and Jules' friendship, relationship, whatever the hell ship that was. So I thought I'd take you guys with me on an episode by episode breakdown of their entire relationship, giving you my thoughts and how I, unpopular opinion, believe that Rue made the best decision not going with Jules. Now, although I do have a clear bias and I will always be on Rue's side at heart, I will be looking at their relationship from the perspective of both of them. As you guys know, there are 3 sides to every story, and if you've never heard this, listen. There's one person's side, the other person's side, and then there's the truth. And in this context, the truth is the audience, how we perceive what's going on. So that means each scene, I'm going to break down how Rue may be feeling, how Jules may be feeling, and then how I'm left feeling as the audience. I also think it's super important to acknowledge their individual lives because we love 3-dimensional characters, and usually whatever's going on in your personal life will affect your relationship. So I think that also should come into context when we discuss the things that went down. So let's get into the pilot, which pilots are never good, but this pilot slapped. So in the pilot, we are introduced to the main character of the show, our favorite addict, Rue. Rue's character is literally everything. She gives me life with her sarcasm, and I truly appreciate the Black queer representation. Thank you. She, dealing with her father's cancer, coped with his illness by dipping into his pill stash, and that habit intensified after his passing, leading to her subsequent overdose. On top of that, she's had to deal with lifelong mental health struggles, which is always debilitating.
I'd say she's suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder.
It's not like I was physically abused.
Attention deficit disorder.
Or had a shortage of clean water.
General anxiety disorder.
Or was molested by a family member.
And possibly bipolar disorder. But she's a little young to tell.
Her biggest demon being her anxiety. But she does have a good support system, her mom and her younger sister, Gia. Honestly, the most shocking part of her introduction was not 1, that she was born 3 days after 9/11, nor 2, that she was an extremely white baby, but that she was born in 2001. But I can't keep talking about Rue without discussing the beautiful actress that plays her, Zendaya. Can we talk about the youngest woman to ever win the lead actress Emmy Award? And she's Black? Come on. But let's get back to Rue. In the pilot, a 17-year-old Rue just got discharged from rehab to her mom and her younger sister, Gia. In the car ride back, which is beautifully shot, her mom turns around and says, "Rue, this is the very beginning for you." And Rue lets us know in the voiceover, "Oh, I had no intentions of being clean." And we're all just left looking at her like, oh, okay. Now, Rue is definitely gay, if it wasn't clear from her outfits, her overall vibe, or the Young M.A. poster in her room that I noticed on my 5th watch, then it should be very apparent now. But if you weren't convinced just yet, It was quickly confirmed after Jules peddled her way into Rue's life. Now, something big to note that I've noticed with all of the scenes that you see with Rue and Jules in together is it's always like dream-like, more innocent feeling in the music and the filters that they use on the shots. It's like a track that plays in the background, similar to the recurring whenever Rue takes a hit of something, you'll hear like the rumbling of a track getting ready to play. So let's meet Jules, the new girl in town. The best way I can describe her is a beautiful mess in fishnets. She, by looks, is like a walking anime character. Personality-wise, though, she's one of those free spirit, fast-paced, adventurous, kind of non-committal type girls, but also you have to recognize she is 17. But let me roll the scene before the dramatic fall into the bed so you have more context as to why that happened.
Yo, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Right here. Go check this out. Yeah.
Hey, don't do nothing stupid.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, yo, what up, B? Yo, how about you coming right on this dick?
Oh, Nate, chill, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, you'll meet him a little bit later. See, I wanted to hate Jules, and you'll see why later in the series. I really, truly, genuinely wanted to hate her, but I had to check myself and my own biases and realize that not every situation is black and white. Did I get there on my first watch? Absolutely not. The second one? No. Probably by the fourth watch did I really start looking at it a little bit from Jules's perspective. But she, like all of us, needs to be held accountable for her actions, and the choices she made that directly affected Rue had me mad, annoyed. Anyways, back in the scene, we see Jules scrolling on her phone, looking at an app that looks a lot similar to Grindr, in which I saw a lot of unsolicited dick pics that my lesbian eyes did not ask for. However, I spoke too soon because we haven't seen the second episode yet. So the takeaway from this scene is Jules decides to meet up with a man by the name of Dominant Daddy on Grindr in place of going to the party that we will be going to a little bit later. But we cannot get into the night of the party without a little appreciation for Hunter, the actress that plays Jules. I absolutely think Hunter bodied and killed this role as Jules. And to think that this was her first acting role, come on. She killed it, and I'm so excited to see her in future projects. But let's get back to the analysis. I genuinely appreciate Rue and Jules' relationship because you get to see blatantly on screen how the relationship affects both of them, how healthy it is for both of them. Basically, you get to see what leads to their ultimate split up, breakup, or whatever that was. But we are getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves, so let's go into the night they met at the party. So it is the night of the party, and Jules is getting dressed to meet up with Dominant Daddy from Grindr. She rolls up at the motel that she's meeting him at, and yes, I said rolls up because she literally pedals up on her bicycle, which kind of tells to how young she really is, but she rolls up to meet Dominant Daddy at the motel. As you would expect, she did not have a good time. But somehow after that traumatic experience, she decided to still go to the party that she should have gone to in the first place. While Rue, on the other hand, is wandering the party high out of her mind. One scene I wanted to note that Rue had is with her drug dealer, Fez, who, yes, he's a dealer, but Fez is an angel, and I do not accept any Fez slander, and I'm so ready for his episode. But essentially, Rue and Fez are basically chilling at the party, talking together. They're both high out of their mind. And Fez is basically like, you know, Rue, you gotta stop with the drugs. And you know it's bad when the drug dealer is telling you, nah, you gotta chill out. And then Rue just goes into this monologue where she just basically explains that drugs to her is like an escape from reality, a reality that she doesn't want to live. And it gets all deep, and both of them end up laughing at the end.
You still gonna be my dealer, Fez?
You a fucking trip, bro. I'm too high to be having this conversation right now.
Yeah, man, me too.
Everyone in her life, even the drug dealer, wants her to quit with drugs. So as we see, both Rue and Jules are coming into this friendship with a hell of a lot of baggage. So a little bit later that night, an altercation breaks out in the kitchen, entering in a very drunk Nate. You remember that guy from the truck earlier? Yeah, him. Essentially, he corners Jules and he hits her with a I know what you are, essentially referring to her being trans. And if you didn't know by now, hello, she's trans. They dropped some Easter eggs earlier in the episode, but this is the first time where we're really getting a grasp of, oh, okay, this is real. We're gonna talk about it. Jules, who is terrified of this angry drunk man in her face, grabs a knife and she starts like, you know, pointing at him like, get away from me, basically, get away from me. He responds like this, which, cool, she got him to back off, but she decides to take it a little bit further.
You have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I don't really have words for it, I'll be real, but the takeaway that I got from it is Rue saw that whole thing go down and she still said, let me go meet her. And when I tell you, only lesbians, like everything about Rue's introduction to Jules said, yeah, you should probably stay away. And Rue, like a lot of our dumbasses, was like, oh, she crazy? Cool. So Jules runs out the front door and there is Rue right after her.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Guess I knew that was gonna get violent and I didn't want to fucking broken cheekbone or some shit.
Yeah, no, I totally, like, I get the logic behind it, but it's still, like, fucking insane.
It's funny to me because I just realized that Rue has social anxiety, but she was cool enough to go up to Jules and start asking her, is she okay? But then I had to think about it. Rue's high. So usually, you know, drugs get you feeling a little... The whole scene is perfectly awkward. They introduce themselves.
I'm Rue.
I'm Jules.
Then Rue asks her where she's going.
Home.
And then Rue goes,
Can I come with you?
only at parties, honestly. They end up both getting onto Rue's bike and pedaling down the street, thus starting the chronicles of Rue and Jules, or Rules as we know them. So during the bike ride scene, we see that Jules is clearly in her head about the traumatic experience that she just had earlier, while Rue is just there in her oblivious high of the moment right now. This scene, like the other scene that I described, has that childlike innocence, the childlike track to it, but also I just feel like it's very telling and very foreshadowing to their relationship as a whole. As you see that Jules, when they're together, Jules has her head somewhere else. She's always thinking about something else that's going on. While Rue, she's just overall happy to be there with her. So the two make it back to Jules's house and they sneak in her room and the show throws the classic "this character is gay" move. Essentially, they did a whole play on the locker room scene where you see Jules, she's, you know, scantily clad in the back, getting undressed. And then you see Rue, she's like trying not to look, but she's clearly looking. That's how you know. It's not the girls in the locker room that are looking at you that are gay. It's the girls that are looking at the floor. But it's an overall just really cute scene and I love seeing that depicted. Now, it was all fun and games until the show had to throw a little twist at us. So you guys remember the traumatic experience that Jules had with the man and then the second traumatic experience that she had with Nate at the party? Well, it turns out that man, the old man from the motel, is actually Nate's father. Yeah, the show went there, and this show does not fail to go there. But luckily they bless us with ending the episode with Rue and Jules. When I tell y'all, it's the moving of the hair behind the ear and the lip biting for me. Huh. So in this shot, we really see them really looking at each other from the first time. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like people look the most beautiful and raw in the morning. And so they are seeing their unfiltered selves in the morning. And I think it's a completely beautiful scene. And then you see Rue look at Jules and Jules looks at Rue and Rue goes,
Let me get out.
And then the episode ends. Now to close out, I want to note Rue's habits that we have seen within this first episode. Rue loves getting high. Yes, of course. But I think it's much deeper than that. Like we saw in the scene with Fez, she just loves the opportunity to escape her reality that she doesn't enjoy being in. She's an addict in every way, addicted to drugs and how being high makes her feel. And now she got her first hit at Jules and she was hooked.